the agenda is just discussing new business, the strategic plan overview, so if there's anything else you wanted to add, now's the time to do it. No? Okay. Everyone rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. No privilege of the floor. So. Okay, well, the reason we're here is because the only long-range plan that we have on record is basically a sales pitch for a $20 million library, and we need something different. So, what we're going to work on is a 1-year plan and a 5-year plan, and I don't expect to have this done tonight, and I don't expect to keep you for more than half an hour, 40 minutes, just to get the basics of this down. And I think doing anything more than a 5-year plan is a waste of time, because just think of how the world was 10 years ago. You know, there's no way to know what 10 years from now is going to bring, so I think 5 years is far enough into the future to look. The 1-year plan is actually the more important one, because that's actually actionable. 5 years is going to fluctuate. You know what I mean? I know, it's a tongue tie, yeah.
Now.
All right, anyway.
First
Yeah, that too. It's gonna be that too. Anyway, so just yeah, looking over the long-range strategic plan that we already had, it was not helpful at all, because really it was just a sales pitch for the library, and I couldn't find anything that predated that. So we're kind of just working from scratch, and you know, it's just like any other, like New Year's resolution type thing. We just, what does the library need over the next year? How do you see us doing that? And one of the things that, what's that?
We'll do 1 year first.
We'll do 1 year first, and then 5 years. I mean, some things we might bring up and go, you know what, maybe that's better off over a longer period. And, but I don't really have a set idea in my mind how this is supposed to look. I don't think this is supposed to be a huge document. No one's going to read it if it's 40 pages long, and it's not realistic if it's that big. You know, 1 year, what are we gonna do? Repair the roof, fix the windows, repoint the bricks, you know, that kind of stuff, building repair work.
Yeah, important stuff.
Yeah, one of the things I do think we need to do is work on our PR. We're not looking to expand our customer base, because we run a business, but the whole town pays for this library, and most of them don't use it or know why they would want to use it, or half the stuff that we offer. And we've built up some goodwill since the library, the giant library failed. We've built up a lot of goodwill, and we've, I think we should work on that and build on that. I don't know how that looks exactly, and I think as a group we can come up with things. Just why we have a library, what do we offer the community, because a lot of people probably don't even know.
Sure.
You know, we have a needlework club that meets here once a week. How many people show up for that, do you know? 4 or 5, some days 2. People don't know it's here. We have a book club for adults. I don't know how many people participate, but it's the same 5 or 10 people over and over again. There's how many thousand people in the community. How many households pay for the library, how many people actually use it. I think if more people understood what it was we do and what it is we're offering the community and what the resource we actually are, the more inclined they'd be to help us achieve the goals we want to achieve for the town. Does that make sense?
Yeah, provide better visibility for what we can offer.
Right, I mean, we're not,
What
you
we
know,
do offer.
right, and it's, we're selling ourselves in that we're letting people know what it is we already do. I mean, look at what Michelle does with this little tiny room. Just imagine what that woman could do with the proper size facility and the, you know, enough people participating, and you know, she gets a lot of people very excited about all of the things library. She had 100 and something kids show up at the Rotary Family Fun Day. Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm. I actually had somebody, one of the restaurant vendors in town, complimented on all the work that they do with the kids.
Yeah, she's
just a
incredible.
week, and it's like, yeah.
Right. But there's adult programs and people don't know anything about them, and there's, you know, Eleanor's done a lot with the way the library is reorganized and changed certain things so it's more like a bookstore, and that made it more user friendly. And you know, just the we have 93,000 items in our electronic database. Nobody knows about it. We have all kinds of things you could borrow online. Nobody knows about it. There's just I think we need to work on our, PR, marketing, I don't know what you would call
Actively,
it.
because a lot of
Actively,
people
right.
don't know how to
Here's the
browse your books
thing.
anymore.
5 years from now, we probably are gonna have to either be in process toward a new library or taking that leap. And nobody's going to help us do that if they don't understand why we need to do it in the first place. So between now and the time we actually go for either a local building that we buy and remodel or build something on that land or something, before we do that, everybody has to be on board with us. That a new library is in service of the people who use the library. It's not the other way around. And the strategic plan we have has it the other way around. So the taxpayers were here to support a library. No, the library's here to support the taxpayers. And a bigger library is here to support the huge amount of people that we have in town that we're supposed to be taking care of. You follow?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I just,
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm making sense, so, but everybody else has to be on board with that so that they understand. Nobody understood that the last time, we need a new library came to.
Well, we went to, briefly, Matt and I went to the RCLS breakfast, and just in talking over, looking at all the stuff they provide for us that we find value in RCLS, the same way the village and the town
Right.
should see us, the school district should see us as shared services that everybody benefits from.
Right, and this library does do a lot, offers a lot, and I don't think most people know it. So that's one of the things we have to work on.
Why?
Why do we have to work on it?
No. Why don't they know about
I
it?
don't know why they don't know. I don't know. I think if you
Because the
have little
biggest-
children in school, the school actively promotes use of the library when you're little. And then they come in here to borrow books. And there's, the library sends children's librarian to Scotchtown Avenue, and they get the kids who know how to write to get themselves a library card. And one of the class trips, they come to the library when they're like the first grade or something like that. And that gets the ball rolling to use the library. When they're here, they find out about the children's programs, and it's very inclusive and active for the children. Somewhere along the line, we lose them.
And budget cuts have caused these schools to get rid of their librarians.
Right,
Right.
right. So then
That
they're using the
would-
library even more now.
But they were also our spokespeople in a sense.
They were. Well, but the thing is, there are a lot of people in town who don't have any children and don't, well, what do I need a library for?
There's plenty of reasons.
What's
Plenty of
that?
reasons for that.
Right, there is, right, but
So, just
how do we
do it
reach
demographics
those
and
people and how do we
provide-
let them know what it is we have to offer if you don't have tiny children?
well, we
Well,
did our business plan recently that has all the things that we do and provide.
Right, but having,
So we have to sell.
we have to sell it,
Yes.
that's what I mean, our marketing. You show people what it is, you tell them what it is, you show it to them again, and you have to tell somebody the same thing over and over and over again before it sinks in. So, yay, we have a business plan. People have to actively look for it on our website.
Yeah, but it's-
Not that I'm saying we should mail a copy to every house in town, I'm just saying that having these things and people knowing about them, there's something in between that we have to work on.
Well, one of the things that we already have that gets mailed to every household is our newsletter.
Absolutely.
And perhaps to springboard from the newsletter, maybe, I know that you jam pack it with all kinds of things. Do all of the programs make it on there at any given time? I mean, I know the sometimes it's Michelle's programs and the success they're having there and the themes and all of that. You pack it with a lot of information. Perhaps something for us to look toward is maybe do a special newsletter.
Okay.
That can be mailed to all of the households that focuses only on all of the services we provide. You know.
Like an annual thing that has a breakdown of services, or what are you thinking?
Maybe a couple of times a year.
Okay.
I know how much does it cost?
Oh, off the top of my head, I'd have to check.
But there's also
But
the
it's-
indie.
Which we've been using a lot.
We do, we
Which I'm
do the India a
sure
lot.
they would allow us to provide.
But not
something.
everybody has the indie.
No,
No.
but still, it's a starting point, and it's free.
Well, we
it
also,
is.
we
It's
have,
free.
But-
oh, no, go ahead.
You know,
Do
to-
both? I'm just
but-
saying, do both. There's two.
Yeah,
These two places.
in keeping with the theme that you have outlined is to let people know that we're here,
Mm-hmm,
and for them to hear it from us first.
mm-hmm.
We can use the indie as new programs and new things come along.
Right.
But maybe a biannual
Mhm.
newsletter that's devoted to, hey folks, this is what we got here at your public library.
Mhm.
Come and visit us, did you know that we now have a completed,
Obituary index.
yeah, did,
We're just dying to.
did you know about our knitting? I see it because I see it in our director's report and
Mhm.
Eleanor's report, but maybe something like that as a starting point. The other thing is, in terms of, Matt, I think already has also started us on the right foot, is community groups. You're, as a member of the Rotary,
Right. It's
you know.
definitely helpful.
Or the Senior
Yeah.
Citizen Center, like Frank used to be a
Yeah.
representative of.
Well,
I
I'm
guess
not a
we'll
member
have to
yet,
make
so.
Jim- I think Jim might
I'm a
qualify,
little few,
we'll
a few
make
years,
him
sure.
Jim. He's not here,
But I was
either.
thinking
no.
that's
Yeah.
one of the
Yeah.
gateways.
Yeah.
The houses of worship in town.
Guess what we
Yeah.
did, Jim? We volunteered you for this.
The senior center, the houses of worship,
Sure.
how do we get, information out there?
Right.
Do we put do we ask them to, hey, can you put a little, this is your library little box thing and people can take it, in my church at St. John's, there's always something stuffed in the
Right.
in the bulletin. I'm not saying we need to go stuff the bulletin because that'll take forever. There's like
Right.
7,000
Mm.
copies that
They have a bulletin board inside the door too at the church, so maybe flyers and things like that would be good.
Well, I guess the first thing maybe is to come up with a flyer, to come up with
That's the first,
something
right, and
that
then,
has our features and services and holdings and
right,
our sell sheet, whatever.
right.
Can I just say, I'm just looking at the website too. I think you really, that's the one way to reach out. I'm
Mhm.
looking at the different websites of the libraries. This is ours.
Yes.
This is, let's see here, this is Warwick's.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see that. Oh, well.
It's interactive, it has everything out. We have a lot of things to offer, absolutely.
Right.
But you gotta search inside of it to find it. We might wanna look at the biggest marketing tool, which is our website, and get
Mhm.
more traffic there. And things, this has Flash on it. This is Middletown. I was looking at Middletown's. Middletown's is nothing special, however, it's a little more colorful,
Yeah.
it catches the eye.
Mm-hmm.
And to go back to Goshen, we go back to Goshen's, this is Goshen's,
I mean, we actually
That's only a year old.
try to make
Right.
it as simple as we can. We try to not to
Mm.
do like a
Right.
thrall. I
Right.
mean, we've had many discussions about this, and it's always many opinions about how much stuff
Yeah.
you want to put on there, how much.
Right.
And we also did it for free.
Mm-hmm.
We had when we were paying for it. So I think part of it is how much money you guys are willing to sink
Right.
into it, because we could take it back out of house again, but it's going to cost
Yeah.
us right
what's
now.
the
we've
management
gotta-
issue? Yeah, management's
Well-
one thing.
The problem with having it out of was the expense, but it's also the flexibility of it. Because if the library closes, then we have to contact somebody who then gets on the computer when they have the chance. If it's in-house and he's got the password and he's got the password, you go right then and change
Right.
it.
Yeah.
And the way we have it set up now through WordPress,
It's
right?
WordPress. It's not.
It's much easier for lots of different people to be able to manipulate it.
Mhm.
And I think the color scheme we went with because it went with our newsletter.
Okay.
And we kept it in line with the
No, I mean,
newsletter.
I use it, and
Yeah.
you look at it, and it's got the video, it has all that, but
Yeah.
there's nothing there that really just pops out.
Yeah,
If you want people
I
to
love
know.
Warwick's. Warwick's is actually probably my favorite in the systems. Ours is somewhere in the middle. Some of the RCLS ones are really plain. Ours looks flashy. Flashy compared to.
Yeah,
But
So
this-
ours is sort of middling, I'd say,
Right.
but Warwick's is top of the line. And Warwick also seems to have a lot of benefactors, and I think that's probably part of the reason.
Sure.
right.
But I see what you're saying, definitely.
Yeah.
Something we can look at again. We've even discussed in the past trying to get more information out through. And I don't know. We bring it up and then it kind of falls to the wayside, like a constant contact. Where you can have people opt in to getting stuff through their,
Right.
in their inbox. You could have maybe a monthly newsletter that supplements the quarterly.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I don't know. We start it and then it sort of. We keep meaning to start it with one of the paper newsletters where you would send us back a clipping if you're interested in having your name added to our
Uh-huh.
database of or then putting something online to get the people that just look online. But I think you're right. This is
We even have like pictures of the kids this past summer doing the
Right,
the
right.
carnival out front. it's
Yeah.
just seeing what the kids are doing and the different events that are taking
Sure,
place.
yeah.
I mean, that's inviting for people. Say, oh, I know these kids are, it's just, it's a excellent marketing tool.
It could be
Well,
one page, additional page that we put together that deals with the marketing of the library. We don't have to change the
No.
whole
No, we don't. What I
site.
was gonna say
Just-
is, because it's WordPress, the landing page is a blog post.
Okay.
And you can change that every day, once a week, twice a week, and that the rest of it will stay static. The across the top. I mean, you can change the names of things in case somebody's. I was at an ATM machine. A much older man was there, and he couldn't figure out how to get his balance because the choice was inquiry, and he didn't understand that hitting inquiry would get him his balance. So sometimes it's just the wording that we use. Maybe people don't understand. So if you simplify the wording all the way down, calendar, hours, that kind of a thing,
Yeah,
I
make it
don't
as
know
simple as
exactly what we
possible.
have, right. But if we use the front page as a weekly blog post instead, and, pictures from
Right.
this event recently, and have Michelle write a blog post, and then the following week have Eleanor write something for the adult programs or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Does that sound
Something
doable,
we
or?
could, sure, I mean, I'm sure we could try it.
We need to market the library in the next year.
It's just, it's sort of funny the way things, when
think
we
we have to
started out a few years back, Jamie was the one that did the website, and she did a brilliant job, but it was this enormous thing. And it had a whole section with blogs. And this is going back to like a much more war-torn time in the library, if you remember. Ellen Mary.
Yes, I remember.
And people were mocking us at that time for having blogs.
Mhm.
I know. So it's sort of this funny thing where there's like the cycles of history. Now we're back to
Well,
almost what she was really ahead of the curve too. Let's say that, because she was a total geek and she was like always looking to see like 10
Mhm.
years ahead. So maybe it's just maybe her idea maybe this is the time for her idea, which at that point was being sort of made fun of. But
Well, here's the other thing. You can hook up the blog post on our website to our Facebook page and our Twitter. And that would they would write one thing and it would go to
just
3 different
populate through
places.
those. Okay.
Right. A Twitter feed only lasts about an hour, so if you had it tweet 2 or 3 times that one day, and then hit Facebook once or twice in a week.
But we do
That
something
does-
with
that really-
Hootsuite.
Hootsuite, yeah.
Is that okay?
Right,
Something
but-
like that's
We do
just
something with Hootsuite.
Jen,
There,
right?
but
I don't
there's,
even.
I forget what the
touch it.
program is.
Okay,
There's a
but there's
couple of
something
them.
with
There's
it.
TweetDeck and there's something else that will take your Twitter and put it on Facebook and take your whatever and
And that will
announce it on
fold
Twitter and.
the website
Well,
into this process. That
Right,
could
you want,
actually-
what we want, for online marketing purposes, what you want is to bring everybody to the website, and you want the website to be user-friendly, and you want,
Sure.
the website is like our store
Right.
online, and that's
Yeah,
what we want.
I'm not criticizing anything.
No,
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 wanna
but
see-
you're right, the website is, a resource, and we're not using it properly. But the,
Is there Flash on it? Do you know can you put the
Do we
can you
have
put
Flash on?
Flash
I mean,
video,
on WordPress?
that I'm not sure
Like,
about.
or
you
just-
can do it on
Look at that.
WordPress, I just don't know if we have.
But what are we trying to do?
I mean,
Video?
just or most recent updated pictures, just like
A
just,
slideshow.
yeah,
on
like a
there.
slideshow up in the corner or something
We
like
might-
that. Something that
You may be able to do something with like an embed code.
You do a
Okay.
widget.
Possibly.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Do a widget.
Just have,
Right.
they probably have, a slideshow widget, and we could just put all our photos in it.
Which
Simple.
one is that?
There you go.
WordPress. You got
It's
it.
WordPress.
You got
WordPress
access
is
to
almost
everything,
idiot-proof. You gotta learn
Really.
it.
Video Moto. Isn't that one?
Yeah, it's one of them.
Video
But
Moto.
WordPress has hundreds of widgets, and they probably have a photo widget we could use. So
So
you got your
we're,
work cut out for you, Dave.
so we're thinking the website first?
Well, I think the website isn't something we could do. It's mostly on David. But
Two things.
yes.
You're talking about having some of the employees of the library
Mhm.
post what's going on,
Which-
past
yes.
programs,
We do
future
have that,
programs.
but it's under the, it's not right on the front page. You know, Michelle has a revolving thing and YA has a revolving thing, but it's true, it's not right up when you come, you'd have to be interested enough to go down and click
look
and then
for
look
it.
at it there, you
Mm.
know, it's not
Right.
right. And she's saying we should have some kind of
You can.
revolving front page that would have.
I think you can format the front page so it looks. It's just the first couple of sentences, and so you could have a couple of stories.
Read more.
Right.
Thing.
So
Read
right,
more,
exactly.
read
So
more,
it's like
read
2
more.
sentences and then read more. So people who don't care about the children's programs don't have to see a whole page of that. They can click through to the next thing if they're interested. So you can scroll down the first page and see 4 or 5 different stories.
Right. I mean, the only thing like posting on the front page we had did a couple times, not like extensively, but like whenever there'd be a change on the, like, just for teens page or the just for kids
Right.
page. Because occasionally Michelle like send me a like a summary,
Right.
kind of recap what happened, what's coming up, and things like that.
Right.
Occasionally I'll put in a little blip to kind of
Mhm.
let them know that something's been changed, but not heavily.
Yeah,
I've done it heavily.
I think maybe if it was, I don't know, maybe this won't work at all, but maybe if it's more, you know,
That's-
and you can land on the front page and there's a whole bunch of information to choose from, maybe that's better.
And we'll have to figure out a way to both have stuff that's important remain static there so people can see it, but also have something
Well,
that maybe changes, like with borders, right, or
Well,
something.
you have 3 columns, right? And the center is the part
We
that's
have
changeable. There's
how is it
links
set
on the
up?
left and widgets on
Right.
the right, and then the center is the text,
Right
correct?
now we just have widgets on the left, which is like the menus,
Yes,
and then we have a
you have a
header
drop
slash
down,
drop
yeah.
down,
Right.
semi drop down menu going across the top.
Mm-hmm. And what do you have on the right?
There's nothing right now. In the beginning, we did have it, but
Yeah.
then when we started adding and adding, it started getting really
Too
crowded
crowded.
and busy, and
Mhm.
we ended up stripping that right bar out.
But that's
That's what you
one
see.
part of it.
It is, right.
The
I mean,
others, we
that's-
have to come up with some marketing material. We have to look through our business plan, which is posted.
It should be posted on the, on our website.
So that's where we have what we worked on this past year.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have all these
And we
wonderful
have to
things we
dress
do,
it
we
up.
have to tell people.
Of course, those are 2 things.
Right.
How we're going to market the library this
Yeah.
coming year.
So far, I have 3 things listed in the one-year plan, bullet-wise. Can I
Okay.
just repeat those? So
Sure,
that
go
you
right
can see if
ahead.
I'm on the same page. Develop a PR plan to increase goodwill across the community.
Okay.
Be active in the Indy. That was-
I think that's like a subset of our PR plan.
Okay. Develop greater web presence, including photo slides.
It's all marketing.
Am I-
That's all kind of under
Revamp
the
the
PR.
website, yeah.
Yeah, that's all part of the
But
PR
it still
plan.
explains what the plan is for the year?
Well, yeah, that's the PR, and we're discussing that. So everything you've mentioned goes under the
Under it.
PR umbrella. I think also in the first year, we have to work on a lot of the repairs around the building. I'm sure you guys are well aware of what those are.
Which
And
I
we need to prioritize what they are, and what's that?
I have a couple of things.
Yes, dear, go ahead.
2 things. I don't know if we really provide a lot of information on how to use technology here at the library. I know we've had some brief discussion on, there's been interest, patrons asking to be shown how to download a book on
Right.
their tablet. There's other
Right.
things that we
Like-
could help them with.
So are you suggesting we do offer technology classes, but we don't do it on a regular basis? Are you suggesting we do
have-
it on a regular basis?
Well, I mean, we have
Can I
to,
help you?
No, he's working, that's
Oh, well,
Steven.
okay.
I'm gonna go lock the door, I'll be right back.
we have to let people know about
Yeah, okay.
what is possible with today's technology. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I know,
Yeah.
but what are you suggesting, that we
Well, I guess
offer a
maybe
regular
it's part,
class, or?
part of the marketing.
Okay,
Part of marketing, but we're perhaps not doing it now
Right,
to include it, to help these kids,
to let people know
parents,
that we will
use their
teach them how
technology
to.
here at the library. That's a minor thing.
Do we have just to build off of that idea, do we have a digital section in this library? Do we have like where somebody can come and pick up a Kindle and just sit there and read?
We don't know any
No,
Kindle.
we don't know.
We don't know any Kindles.
It's perhaps
that-
something in our 5-year plan that we
That's, yeah,
discussed,
because we were talking
budgeting
about
for.
Maybe
budgeting for
10,
Kindles.
just having a
Yeah.
corner just set aside for, so,
I think, yeah.
Mhm.
Just thinking
Yes.
for, outside the box for a moment. What if we were to host a fair or library symposium, not symposium, that sounds too stuffy.
Library Appreciation Day kind of thing?
No, but, yeah, whatever we want to name it.
Okay.
But hosting, maybe on a Saturday,
Mhm.
where we put everything we have out there for everybody to see.
Mhm.
It could be a day where people can come and learn to use the digital media.
Mhm.
It could be, look at all the projects that the kids have made throughout the year.
Okay.
Look at what the knitting club did. These are the films, have films that were viewed by our senior citizens who came during the day to view. Just open the doors, do an
Open
open house. Thank
There you go, an open house, that's a great idea.
Do an open house, and this is everything we do. Much like the Rotary did a thing where, you know,
Yeah,
different
yeah.
stations, we
Yeah.
could have different stations where people come in and, you know, if they want to take a copy of the business plan, a long-term base, take it with you, read it.
Mhm.
You know, maybe that'll interest them to come to a meeting, and we have, once in a while, we might have comments from the, what is it, floor. I was gonna say that out loud. But just, you know, and also, aren't we celebrating the 100th anniversary?
Oh, I'm getting there. When are we, it's still
I
a
mean,
year
that
or
could
two
be-
away, right?
I
When's the
thought it
100th
was-
anniversary of the library? I
I
think
think we're
we're,
into 120 years.
are we? I thought it was less than that. Okay, see, there we go, we don't even know how
We
old
could
we
throw
are.
a party for the library.
We
Throw a
could,
party
we
for the
could.
community, open house, come, invite different business groups to come in and, you know, see our wares, see
I
what
like
we
it.
have.
That's a great idea.
You know, that could be something that we could start little by planning, and everybody takes a
Sure.
piece and,
Right, and each department does their own thing and
Yeah.
sells themselves and tents and cookies and stuff like that. I like it.
That's a good idea.
That
Yeah,
is a
yeah,
great
very
idea.
good idea.
I like it. You can put that on the
Yeah.
agenda.
I
Open
got it.
house.
If you did it on the day that they did something in town, like the lighting of the tree, or,
Yeah,
but earlier in the day,
sure.
maybe people are up and out and going, you know,
Yeah, I don't, how much, I
I
wonder how
was
much
thinking
time
like
it would
warm
need.
weather. So
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm thinking it's getting,
outside.
while you're
And I was
talking, I'm
thinking
thinking it's
sooner
kinda
the
late. Right, that's, it's like, oh.
No, but it's a 1-year plan.
It's a
we
one-year
could be-
plan, right,
we
so
could
we
plan
can,
an
if we
open
start
house
it
for
now or
next-
have it in the spring.
Yes,
Yeah, there's no reason we
you know,
can't do
and
that.
then
could be a bigger July 4th, you know, weekend thing here. We only do a book sale, but
Yeah, you know
we
what, a
don't
lot of
draw
those
people
people
in.
aren't Goshen.
yeah,
and
they're
I
not
think it would,
Goshenites.
no.
I think we need to
Yeah.
focus on community.
We have to focus on, yeah.
Community, you know, an open
Mhm.
house for our community, our
Right,
patrons.
I think the spring is better anyway, the summer half the town goes away.
And it's something we could advertise through the schools,
And we
could-
can,
you know, our
Ramp it up
newsletter,
for 6
the
months
the
beforehand.
website, the Indie, the Chronicle, the what's the
yeah,
other thing? The Times Herald Record.
right,
You know, the local houses of worship help us
Sure.
get the word out,
uh-huh,
and you know, we could have somebody donate some hot dogs and
sure,
somebody man the grill or something.
there you go.
I got the grill.
You got the grill, well, Jim's gonna take care of the senior center, he just doesn't know it yet.
Oh, okay. But I don't know, something
No,
to
it's
think
a good
about.
idea, I like that idea a lot. Yes, dear.
Two more things.
Alright.
One thing we've brought up from time to time is our tax base, such as, what is it, Arcadia Hills, not being, you know, paying
Yeah.
taxes.
Yeah.
Is this something that we can work on?
There's nothing we can do about it,
Nothing we
it's
can
a
do
fight
about
with the town, and we're not getting anywhere.
Okay. The other thing, though, something we've been discussing is,
We were discussing, not to shut you up, but that there are other portions of the town that got cut out, and then there are other areas that have no library service because their town just doesn't have one. So there's a bunch of orphaned communities, I think is how RCLS refers to them.
right,
And since we're having such a love affair with the school district, it probably is in our best interest and all of those people's best interest if we became a special district library.
it's a 5-year plan.
That's part of the 5-year
Yeah.
plan, right? So not to,
Right.
but becoming a special district library would then re-envelop
Gotcha.
all those people. And then areas like what was it, New Hampton or?
Mhm.
There's New Hampton and parts of Wayanda and parts of little communities around that would expand our tax base, and they would get library service without having to build a library and blah, blah, blah.
The-
But yeah, that's part of the 5-year plan.
Okay. The other thing I like to see on the 1-year plan
Yes,
is getting our taxes
yeah,
at the beginning of our fiscal year.
yeah.
And, you know, I don't know how it's been going on
Mhm.
where they've had our money all these years and
Mhm.
making the interest on how much money have they had?
Yeah, I don't know when they get it.
Come on,
but,
it's
yeah,
ridiculous that they're making money on our money, and they should by law,
by giving it to us.
provide it to us beginning of our fiscal year, and it's something I think
Yeah,
we need to
I
pursue,
think so too.
you know?
I think we were all pretty much in agreement with that at the last meeting, right? That we're gonna
How'd
get.
that
I
work
thought I was
out?
gonna have a conversation.
How'd it work out?
How'd it
Well,
Did it enough?
well, we didn't actually have a confrontation with the school board just yet, but legally, we've come to
Regardless,
an understanding. Yeah.
regardless of what, who it says what or whatever.
Yeah, right,
We
the-
need to pursue this.
Yeah, they're
It's
required to
ridiculous.
give us our money on
Right.
demand the first day of our fiscal year, and
They're still dragging their feet, or they're still insulting you.
Well, we're talking,
Well-
there's two things here. There's the TAN,
Tan, yeah.
and there's also the rest of our money. Don't we not get the rest of our money till
right, we don't get it.
In
oh,
stages. Yeah.
Right,
in stages?
we get our money
They
in
get
stages.
it. They get it
Right, and they
at
and
the
they,
onset.
well, see,
and
part
they're
of the
making-
problem. I know, I get it, and part of the problem is that they've been giving it to us like it's our allowance, sets up the relationship
Wow.
that they're in charge of us, and we have to change that.
We do have
So,
to
right,
change.
but we were discussing this at the last meeting about sending them some sort of letter before the end of this calendar year, like letting them know that on July 1st we want our money, so that they have time to rearrange their finances so that they'll have it for us. So we'll see what happens. But that's, I think we put that on the agenda for the next meeting, that discussion for the letter to the,
Yeah.
but I think, but yeah,
it's that
that's,
important to have on our.
it is, it
our
absolutely is. Now,
1 year.
yeah, and that would also, getting that squared away would also then free up the money we need to
To
repair
repairs.
The-
Yeah, do repairs
the-
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would
what's
help
left of our
greatly.
library. But yeah, we have, you guys already know what all of that is, right? I mean, we needed the roof done, and we have windows that need to be framed and caulked, and there's
Caulked,
rotting
yeah.
wood that has to be replaced. You already have a
Yeah.
list, and it's prioritized
Yeah.
by,
Yes.
okay, so, does
And you-
anyone,
But the roof is,
the
you
roof
have to
we
report
took
to
care
both
of,
these already.
didn't
the
you?
roof is done?
He had the roof repaired.
It's not replaced, it's
Well-
been patched. but
We didn't have it redone,
How much
but
was
we
No, I
had it
mean, we didn't-
repaired.
yeah.
Slate?
Yeah, there were like
But
10 of, what was
there
it,
were like
20
20
slates
some-
missing.
Okay.
Within the terrain.
It's still
after
through.
it's-
It's
He
still
came
through.
back, I had the roofer to come back, and he took a look, and he said that it's most, almost definitely coming from the cupola. Around the cupola is flashing that's been pulled up, and that they don't do, so I called,
Martin.
and he's coming tomorrow, when it's raining, to go over.
I was
the-
at the.
Oh, good, okay.
Who's
I
Martin?
seen on TV.
Martin
store.
Van Haster, he's a local carpenter,
Got
and
this
he's done some work for
spray
us
paint
before,
Rubber.
and he does fantastic
I've
work.
heard that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he kind of shows right up
Oh.
and does, like he repaired the nuns residence for us and did a few other
How does
things.
it fare with heat, cold?
It does well.
Does it well?
Yeah, they show a promo with somebody doing the roof.
The boat,
Or
and
the boat.
he sprays
It's like,
the
oh my
screen door
God.
and he's
Oh,
put the
jeez,
thing-
I was gonna buy that.
Yeah.
To fix my terracotta pots.
There you go.
I'm like, terracotta pots? I have tons of them, they're broken.
Yeah,
right.
Just spray
There
them.
we
Yeah,
go.
we
But
saw
but
that
it's
at
black, then you have to
Market.
Think of
paint
the
it.
money we'll
Suck that
save
out
repairing
front.
the library if we just spray that stuff all
We
around.
spray the whole
Well,
roof.
we
There you
just
go,
have one
let's
area.
spray the
to
whole
use.
roof with that stuff.
God.
What'll it cost, $100? We'll buy $100 worth of that spray stuff.
Open
So
house,
in
grab
this-
a can.
We're on live.
We have a sense of humor, see?
Yes, yes.
Have to.
Yeah.
So we've come up with lots of ideas.
Right, a lot, we've come up with a lot of PR ideas, and
Yes.
that open house is a very good one. Repairs to the building we're aware of, getting our tax money on the first day of our fiscal year, that's kind of necessary to get some of this other stuff
Yeah.
done. What else do you think we need to work on in the first year?
I think that's enough.
I think
That's
so
a
too,
lot.
but
We
yeah, I
know-
mean, I
we
don't
we
know.
got a
But
lot of
also-
Well,
stuff.
the thing is, I'm not the only one who thinks about
No, no,
these
no, I'm
things,
just- I
so
mean, it's
if
just-
anybody had anything that we haven't
Of
touched
course.
on yet.
Yeah, a couple of things. Grants. I mean, I don't know who within us or outside of the library, if we could get help identifying grants that we'd be eligible for and applying for those,
Well,
because there's a lot of
we
money
have
for
funds.
that.
We have funds to get a grant writer.
I have no idea.
That's what a lot of municipalities are doing these days. They're
Hiring
a
grant writer?
They go out there and search for the grants and apply for the
Yeah.
municipality. And
Well, I think we'd have to look into what that would cost us and
course.
what it would gain us, because it's gonna cost us 40 grand to hire the guy, and he'll only get us 10,000 in grants, he's not worth it.
Right.
well,
Well, you pay them according to how much they get you.
Is
That's
that
how
right, they
grants
get a
work.
percentage, yeah?
How's that?
That's how grant people work.
That's good,
The,
that's smart.
I don't know if we can purchase through BOCES, but BOCES has a grant writer. I don't know if we have the ability because we're linked to a school, I don't know.
Mhm, yeah.
But BOCES has a grant writer. But the way grant writers work is they get a percentage of the money they get the grant for, so.
Okay,
hmm.
that's an interesting idea.
Yeah, a lot of
So maybe we
practice.
could get a grant writer to get a grant to fix the cupola, that kind of thing, you mean? That's
Mhm.
good.
I got a question. I got a call a few weeks ago from, actually a couple months ago, this guy I used to work with. He's now the librarian up in Mamakating. Is
Mhm.
that above?
Yeah.
Now they're putting a new library up there. They're building a new library, and that's you know, that's no Goshen.
Mhm.
You know, but they're putting a new library in. Why are they going to be successful in doing so? Does anybody know?
There's a
That's
lot
a
of
good
reasons.
question.
Mamacating, their town absolutely loves their library. Right now, their library is housed rent-free in office space in town. It's been there for a few years.
Okay.
It's absolutely the relationship between the library and the town,
Okay.
and that makes all the difference. That's why we need to work on our PR plan to build up our relationship with the town,
Mhm.
because it's not as friendly here as it used to be, and it's not as friendly here as it is in Mamacating.
How long you been up here?
My whole life.
Your whole life?
Mhm.
Well, the last go round for it was 30,000 square foot library.
Almost, it was like, yeah,
20,
27,000, 25,000
Taj Mahal.
square foot library.
Right,
Yeah,
Yeah.
for $20 million.
That's what turned people off, and
And then you
Yeah.
had the firehouse too, going for the ultimate gym.
Yeah, but it wasn't just
Wasn't
that.
it? Wasn't it coming at
It
the
was
same
also,
time?
here's
There's
the
a few
thing,
things coming together. Yeah.
a
Yeah.
previous incarnation of this board put forth a bond issue and didn't sell it
Oh,
properly.
okay.
They didn't explain that it was a bond issue. Everybody who voted for it or against it thought what they were doing was giving the library permission to buy land.
Okay.
But that wasn't what the vote was about. The vote was, can we float a bond to buy the land? But most of the people who voted no, you can't buy land, not no, you can't have a bond. They didn't understand because the library didn't explain it.
Okay.
So then when the library went ahead and bought the land anyway, it created an
Sure,
enormous
okay.
amount of bad feeling because these people thought they said, no, you can't buy land. Do you follow?
I understand.
And then, right after that, they said, can we have $20 million to build the library? And the people who said no then said, hell no, and didn't want to hear anything.
What was,
And that
what was the
was
turnout for that?
It was ridiculous. It was like 2,500 people. We never get that. It was like 10 times what we usually get for a vote. That's what came out to tell them, no, you can't build a library.
It was a high
It was
majority.
huge,
Really?
huge turnout.
Really?
Right? It was like 2,500, almost 3,000 people. We got
Yeah.
murdered.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just no, it was like 8-2 no.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was, you've got to be kidding us, no. And then it was, okay, how do you recover from that? And
Well,
there's a lot of bad
so-
feeling about it.
4 years ago?
It was
No,
07.
a lot.
It was
It's a while
07.
ago.
5 years then?
Yeah, because I came in 08,
Yeah.
right after that. So that was 07.
It's not to say we
05,
couldn't still sell a new library.
Right, well, the thing
We-
is, it isn't
something we have
that,
to
a
work
lot
on.
of people understand that we needed a new library, and a lot of people who voted no wanted something different. Not that they didn't want a library, but they didn't want that library.
A $20 million library.
Right.
Yeah, it's
And we need
20
to be
million.
able to
And the
sell
thing
that
is,
we can
at
do
the
a
same
library for
time
less
they were
than that.
doing that, the school board was making noise about a $70 million expansion
yes,
project,
yes,
and
yes,
it
all
and it
schools.
very much felt like
Yeah, it
everybody was coming to pick our
It's a bad
pockets,
time.
and it was a terrible thing. And it was just, everybody got voted down that year, everything. People just got angry and voted no on everything. No, it's
Oh.
not that people don't understand that this library is too small and the parking is ridiculous, and people understand the problems we're facing, but they want a realistic solution, and
And-
they want to be included in the decision-making, and they don't feel like they were the last time.
and
I know there was like a group of people who met with the library and with.
I was part of that group.
Yeah, right, but how many people were involved? And it was the same people each time
About
there was a
30
meeting.
people.
Right.
It was quite a few
30
people.
people, right,
Was
but
there
most
any,
people didn't
just
know.
to, because you were part of that, was there any, like in that, the focus group, was it a focus group or just a planning committee?
Oh, you could call it both.
Was there ever any said, it's like, this is too expensive, let's stop here,
No,
you know?
no, there
No.
wasn't. I mean,
And
it
It
was
was a runaway
idea.
train.
It was
It
ideas. It wasn't. There wasn't any money attached to these ideas.
Right. So you could
Everybody
have-
threw in what they would like to see in a library,
Right.
and that's what they did. They
And,
threw
you
something
know,
together.
I'm surprised we didn't get pony rides.
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember something about a cafe or something, I'm like.
Oh, was
No,
that a
no,
cafe, a
no, that's just,
fireplace,
no,
there's
just
all
a,
sorts of
just
stuff.
a coffee station, whatever.
No,
for,
I get it.
For like Rose
Right.
is set up, no cost to the library, a
Right.
convenience to the patrons, but people didn't view it like that.
Well, because it wasn't, most people didn't feel part of the decision-making process, and most people didn't understand what half of what was going on was about.
Well, it wasn't so well.
No, it wasn't
because these were
explained
open. These were
well.
open meetings. Anybody
Yeah.
could have come to these
Right.
meetings. So
Now, here's the thing, and I said this at the time, I've been coming to this library at least once a week for 13 years, and I didn't know anything about any of that. So how did that happen? If I'm here every week, I didn't even know who
Everything's
Pauline
sent out.
was until I was ready to run for the board. I had no idea who she was. So I
have to
mean,
read the Indian letters to the editor.
but it was
Well-
no. My point is that
we
if
could
I
do
was
it,
in
we
the
could do a
library,
better job now.
that's my point. If people are here, I had small children at the time, and I was here constantly.
I mean-
Those are the people you get, and they'll tell their friends who may or may not come to the library, and that's how you build, and that's who you ask. And we have questionnaire after questionnaire, and we have, some things are ridiculous, and some things are, we need better parking, we need,
But the one thing we know is Goshen doesn't need a $20 million library.
Absolutely not, and we don't need a 30,000 square foot library or whatever it was.
And my thought has always been is, Warwick built 18,000 square feet for $9 million.
Mhm.
Just shy of $9 million.
Right.
And so, maybe we don't need 18,000 square feet.
No, we've made.
But
No,
certainly
we-
with
we
the
don't.
land that we have, that we can build a library that meets the needs of now,
Mhm.
and then leave that legacy for those who come after us
Mhm.
to build upon that legacy.
Well, that's what I was. That's
Or there's the Katrina building,
there is.
which we could get and house with all equipment, all new racks, computers, everything, so he said, for $6 million.
Right, but he still has a tenant, and that's not going to work as long as he has a tenant.
No, actually it would have worked because we would have gotten income from that. And then we could have gotten them
No,
to move
that-
out
it was
after
way,
the lease
It
agreement.
was way too complicated.
And
There's
it
no
wasn't
green
it wasn't
space in that.
complicated at all.
Well, anyway, this,
It
To
is
get back
definitely
to
still
the-
worth
Okay.
discussing in the
All right.
future.
it's worth discussing as an option among others, not as the only one, because as much
Not
as I
saying-
like.
No,
No,
we
no.
were gonna look at the cost of how much to build on
Right.
Salisi,
Right,
which we never have done.
because we never had the money for it, and which is part of why we need the tax money up front.
Well,
so we
no,
can pay
I
off
think
the
we
land.
also, I think it was also said that, well, we have to put our business plan together to find out what we actually want our library to be.
Right.
We thought the
We can't
economy
build a
was
library
not,
if we don't know
the
what we wanna
economy
use it
was not
for.
right
Well,
for
we-
us to go
Right.
out.
Oh, no.
And so we
Yes,
said,
I agree on that, but.
we put the kibosh on, what was his name? The
But these things
architect,
take
The architect.
time.
who
right.
wanted what,
He wanted
$14,000?
$15,000.
Planning and.
Right, it does. That's why we're working on a
So-
5-year plan. So-
What if we were
Yes.
to create excitement within the community, like we put it out there, we're talking about the new library, we put it out there for people to send us what the ideal library would be. We let the community give the input. And
Absolutely.
we asked for a contest of submit what you think the next library, and maybe you would get the bite of a local architect or something like that, and then you put it out there for the community to vote on, or whatever it may be. You allow the community to put their input, this is what I would like to see. And so you're getting that buy-in and stuff like that over, that could be part of the next 5 years or whatever it may be, but I mean, that's listening to 20 million, 9 million, whatever million, I
Mhm.
mean, it's gotta be the vision of the community.
Absolutely.
And then from there, decide, okay, here's how much we're gonna be able to do, and this is what we can do, and here's your
Mhm.
ideas, this is how much your ideas are gonna cost.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
fuck,
Yeah, yeah. But I think it
Come
has
to the table with a yes, and we'll be able to do it.
It's gonna take, I think that's all part of the 5-year plan. I don't see us
Absolutely.
doing a new library maybe within the next 5 years at the 5-year mark or something.
Oh,
I
I
don't
would
see
hope
it.
we could do it within the next 5 years.
I have no idea what the economy's gonna be a
I
year
hope
from now,
it's
so I
still.
don't know if we can,
We get a waiver each year.
yeah,
from
we
the
do.
state.
Mm-hmm.
Because we cannot have wheelchairs in this building.
In this room where children can't come in here.
Yeah.
That's not acceptable.
That's what we
No, it
have
isn't.
now, and
Or
I don't think
strollers.
it's acceptable.
It's not
You
acceptable,
know,
but the thing
and,
is,
you know,
everybody
we're
in
not
this
doing
room
anybody
is
a service.
is in agreement on that, but rushing it on the
Nobody's
town-
rushing
No,
it.
my point is that we have to take our
Lay
time
the
with it.
groundwork. Start
Right.
little by
Well,
little by
right.
laying the
And
And that's
groundwork.
what the 1-year PR marketing
Anticipation.
thing, and then, right.
And
build up the
at an
goodwill
open
and
house, we can say, we could have this is the 5-year plan, folks.
Mhm.
It's out, it's here.
Mhm.
This is what we're thinking. Give us your input.
Right,
Yeah.
but,
To begin to lay the groundwork, because, I think of grandparents who babysit their grandkids when the parents have to go to work, who can't navigate those stairs.
no, they
Yeah.
couldn't, right, that's
No,
not
no,
right.
You
this,
know,
is,
so-
this is the children's area too.
Yes, it is.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Handicapped children can't
we
come
need
down
to
here.
start laying the groundwork, and I
Also
think
kinds
with the 1-year plan, I think, personally, I think we need to do maybe 2 additional newsletters if we can
Mhm.
find the funds,
Sure.
and begin to lay, just message from the board,
Mm-hmm.
a message, this is what the program's going on,
Right.
the long term,
Right.
and start there.
Yeah.
That could give us, entry into
Sure.
the community and building that goodwill so that past memories can be
Right,
erased.
can be erased, and so they know that, yes, this is different, yes, we're doing it the way you want it, yes, we're gonna listen.
We ever do a survey, electronic survey?
Yeah, we have to do a few of them, actually, but,
They're
and,
mandated or
No.
we just choose?
no, we just, it's one of those things that, it's not, all of these things aren't things you can do once,
Right.
A survey will have to be done several times.
Mhm.
Even what do you think we should have in our library contest should happen a couple of times.
Right.
We're gonna have meetings with people, we need to have probably a dozen of them,
Yeah,
having
absolutely.
community meetings, because having 3 meetings with the same 35 people is inadequate,
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
know. Yeah, I don't know what else. I mean, the school district could be a resource if they're not going to get, difficult with us, because they have access to all of the students in the school district and therefore the students' parents, do you know what I mean? And anything that we have to say, maybe we could use, their network.
What is
No,
their
I mean,
network?
right now, when we have children's programs, we send flyers to Scotchtown and GIS, and they go home with the students. That's what I mean. Not that the school district pays for anything, but that.
No, but
the
they would
school
not stop the distribution of our flyers, no? Right?
I don't think so.
No,
I'm just
going
saying
forward,
that.
once because we're
Going
going to ask for
forward.
all our money,
Yeah.
We're
just
gonna ask
to.
for all our money. We
Nothing
don't
wrong with us
really-
asking for our money.
No, I know,
There
but I don't
isn't,
want
but
that
we don't want to build
Right,
animosity.
right. We don't
Where
want
we
to
get
burn
cut off.
bridges, but at the same
Yes.
time, right, they are
Not in
legally
front of us.
responsible to do certain things that they do not understand that yet. We have to make that clear to them in the nicest way possible so that we aren't burning bridges, so we don't kill off the outlet of networking through them toward the parents in the community.
Well, I would hope programs that the library provides is not something they would want to keep away from
No,
the
no,
children.
I'm not talking about just
So-
that. I'm talking about everything else the library does. If we're going to have an extra, here's everything our library offers, so we have that extra newsletter, maybe instead of sending it, everywhere, or, I'm just thinking of different things. This is another broadcast area for us using the school district.
Yeah. As long as we get our funding beginning of our fiscal year.
Just not letting that go, are you?
No, I'm not.
No, I know.
No, how much do they make on interest?
I have no idea.
That's-
What is
We're
it about?
paying-
It's over $1 million.
We're gonna ask for our money,
Come on.
but we don't want to burn the bridge before we cross the bridge.
Right, exactly.
We want to ask for it so that we can.
It's
so
easy
that
enough to ask for our money.
I'm not
you know.
disagreeing with you.
I mean, and
It's
this is on
but-
video. This is something that hopefully they're watching, and they understand where we're coming from. Okay. We don't have to be Mr. Nice Guy. We'll just be cordial. This is
Right, but we also don't want to create problems where we don't need to create problems. So there's,
of course not. Of
Right.
course not.
Right,
We're not asking for anything we shouldn't be asking for, though.
right. Okay, so 1-year plan, let me go over what I wrote down. Our PR and marketing, reaching out to the senior center, setting up flyers, working up our website, local churches, having an open house. Over the next year, we're gonna work on the repairs to the building that the building committee already is aware of, correct? And prioritizing those. We're going to work on getting our tax money on the first day of our fiscal year next year without completely pissing off the school board. And we're going to look into the expense of a grant writer and how to go about getting one of those and whether or not it's worth doing. Does that sound right to everybody?
Mhm.
All right. Our 5-year plan is about exploring the options of becoming a special district library and working toward our new library. Whether it's occupying a building already in town or building something new, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Yeah.
Is there anything else I'm not remembering that I didn't write down, or something else that you think we should bring up?
Well, in the future, I think we should start budgeting for technology.
Like
That is
Kindles and
relevant.
things? Yes.
To
So
our-
over the
to our
next 5
patrons.
years,
Yeah.
the Kindle, iPad kind of thing? No,
Well,
seriously,
whatever,
no.
whatever it is.
My daughter's a senior in the high school, and they were just told that the school is
Oh.
exploring getting rid of textbooks
Right.
and giving everyone iPads.
Well, there's also the school district
Yeah,
being forced to use
hello.
computers for testing purposes.
That's not even. But anyway,
It's
so
crazy.
investing in
But
investing
you might all have
in
to buy
technology.
5,000 kids through computer tests. Computerized tests.
You plug them all in the same room. All right, you got enough outlets for all these
30,
machines.
It's all wireless.
Come on.
It's all wireless, kiddo.
I don't care about the network part, but power part. You
Come
sure
with a dead
everybody has
battery,
a
is
good
that-
charge on
Yeah.
the battery?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So they're all notebooks. So you're paying a
So
premium.
everybody didn't turn the light on and didn't charge all the.
That's
Okay, so
crazy.
investing in technology over the next 5 years is a good idea. Kindles and Nooks or whatever we're going to decide to do, right?
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, they just came out with a new kind of Kindle like a week ago, so who knows what they're
What
going
do
to
we
have.
have? We just have one router here? What do we have wireless wise?
Yes.
One access point.
One access point.
Yeah,
Maybe
the
that's-
Goshen GPS.
Maybe that's something else. I mean, we might want to put more access points and advertise that, you know,
Well,
This
you
is-
have
this is-
coverage.
this is why.
I think
Minimal-
you're saying you don't have good
Yeah,
coverage
it's-
down here.
I do, but it's
I got
it's
dropped.
weak.
No,
It
because the
dropped.
access point is towards the right. Well, from where I'm saying, it's towards the right of the top.
Right.
So that whole front area is wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
Down
right,
here,
down
it's-
here it's lame
The other
And
thing
then
too.
why
is
don't you have another access point?
because we only had
It's
the
cheap.
one.
It's well,
It's
it's
cheap.
secure too. I mean, it's not. Dude, when you log in those computers upstairs, you have to sign into the computers, right?
Right.
So if some guy were to come down here, like, and just sit here and search, you don't know what there's. You don't know who that person
Well,
is.
we don't block anything here other
But
than
you don't
You
know who
mean,
that
like,
person is.
In terms of
specific
Using
sites.
Specific
encryption or in
using
terms of-
using the internet. I mean, because you have people sign into those computers up there, right?
But that's what we're
But what's the
providing.
purpose of that? What's
We-
the purpose of that?
the barcodes.
Or having someone log in the computer?
Well, that monitors how many times they use it, because they
Okay.
can only use it for 2 hours
Alright.
per day.
We provide
So that's more
wireless
of a
access.
concern about
Right, but
having
if you-
someone sit there all day and use it,
But
whereas
if
but
you
they
come
have
in
their own
with your own
wireless.
computer and
that's
use the
their-
And that's
wireless,
no
that's
problem.
separate.
Okay, so alright.
That's a
Yeah,
It's
separate
not for
issue.
security or
No,
anything
no.
like that. There's not a guest wireless or a.
No, there's just an open wireless
No.
access, right?
Right. Although there's
You
there's-
block
there's-
certain sites, certain types of sites.
it's wide open. It's
Porn?
just as wide open as
Yes, wide open.
inside.
There's
Although obviously with a personal device you can do a little bit more with it, you know, because you're using your own thing. You can install your own programs.
Right.
You know, it's just like a regular computer.
so anybody using these computers, they can get to a porn site or.
They
Yeah.
could.
Children.
They could. They
They
should
could, but
be
we
doing
have,
it, but they
we
could.
have, policy.
We have rules of conduct.
We have rules
Yeah.
of conduct for using the computer.
Just a
Yeah.
rule on the wall.
There's
but no
rules of
software
conduct.
in place
No.
to do it.
No, but then they forfeit their right to use our computer if they violate the rules of conduct.
You do have some OS
Yeah,
capability
then
for
we're
providing
getting
that.
into government entities restricting freedom of speech, but we can, it really is one of those things where we can have rules of
We don't
conduct
ban
because there's
anything.
children in the,
It's
we
a-
don't ban anything.
Okay.
We
But
don't
do we need a
ban
disclaimer though? Because I'm just sitting here thinking, do you need a disclaimer like, you know, you're at the Goshen Public Library, you agree to the, I mean,
Well, that's what you say.
It
it
just
just
seems
seems
very-
very, like I could
we
probably
have
sit out in
On
my
our
car.
systems, right.
Yeah, on their system, you're right, but if you're sitting out in your car,
You probably can get access
You
to
can
the
get
Goshen
access.
Public Library's internet and search anything you want.
you can't get
on
into
it.
the other computers, it's not into
No.
the
Not into the other
No.
computers, but you
Right,
can
you
use.
can use the
Just
network
like if you
of the
drove
internet.
next to a neighbor's
Yeah,
house
if you
and
parked
hopped
in
onto their,
somebody's driveway, you
Yeah,
could
it's the
hijack
same.
their-
right, we're open
Right.
just as open
I
as
think we might want to look into that. I think we might want to look into
into
some
doing
more
what?
security for that.
Providing,
A little-
forcing a WEP or a WPA, you know, some kind of password type deal that people that go to the library know about, but somebody walking by or driving by is not going to be able to connect without it.
So what would be the downside? I don't understand, if we have a password and then give it to everybody, what's the point? If somebody's gonna come by and just use our
The
internet,
point is the patrons will know about it, not somebody out in the street or somebody driving by who will park out there and use our internet.
right, but people who are in town for the week on vacation can come in our library and use our internet and they don't pay a penny's worth of taxes.
Right, because we
Mhm.
provide that service.
Right,
And
and
that's
so
fine.
we're going to not provide that because they're not a
No, no.
taxpayer, or
No,
we're just
no.
gonna
No, no.
But then my
No.
point is, then you're giving the password to everybody, so why add the
No,
staff?
you're just giving it to the patrons, people who come here.
Let me.
It's
not
a
to
minimal
address, but
amount,
let me
Yeah,
let me
but see,
explain
I don't
something.
understand
Well,
the
let me-
security risk of keeping it I don't understand what benefit we get.
Why?
It doesn't cost us any more.
Do you
to
know
have-
why?
Yes,
Because
I
the
don't know.
lawyers across the street, any of these businesses can use our high-speed access and take away the bandwidth that we provide our patrons. That's why.
There's a couple of
So-
there's a couple of
Okay.
aspects.
Oh, well,
of
see,
one
that's
of them
what I
is-
We don't want to
No,
make it
that's
easy
what
for people.
That's what I didn't
Well,
understand.
taking-
If you're telling me to have password protect it, and
Oh.
then give everybody the password, well, this is
But
a-
it's
So
hopefully
if
just
he's
the
a
patrons
patron,
who have the
and then he'll
password.
come to the library and get the password, and then go hook up his computer to it anyway.
Maybe we change it once in a while.
There we go.
It's no big deal. This stuff is no big deal.
No, I'm just saying, it sounds like we're unnecessarily complicating something.
That's
We
what I
do
think.
need to
Yeah,
review the
right.
security because of a couple of reasons. One is if we start spewing out the wrong type of traffic from here, let's say somebody comes in here and starts spamming,
Mhm.
okay? Our IP addresses can get blocked,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll limit where we can go because millions of sites honor block lists that we would abide
Okay.
on.
All
So, I mean, not that we have to set up web keys, although it might be a good idea for other reasons.
Mhm.
It should be something that we should look at in general, just whether if
Okay.
we need to revisit the security of the wireless.
So then we'll put that in the one-year plan, security of the wireless, because obviously we're not gonna put that on for
Well,
5 years.
security of the wireless. Are you saying that you don't have good access here?
I don't have good,
Down
actually,
here we
to
don't, it
expand
kinda
the,
sucks.
expand the wireless, but to also take a look at the security of it too. I mean, maybe just have a disclaimer up there. It won't block anybody, but just have a disclaimer so we don't have somebody
in
out in
order
the parking
to-
lot looking at child pornography and this, and that IP address goes right back to the
Links
library.
to our library. That's right.
And then
Okay.
there's your,
Yeah,
libraries
yeah.
and child pornography, how they promote it. Goshen Public Library, there's a
Yeah,
PR
yeah.
problem. So that's not complicating
Yeah, right,
things, that's
right.
just,
No, but
that's just putting
fine.
out the
See, now
reality.
That's an explanation I can understand.
that's just putting out the reality
Frankly, I
of
don't-
society
So
today.
then, is there a way to have a
Parental
screen
controls.
that you have to agree to terms and conditions before you can get into our wireless? Is there a way to do that? I know when you go to a hotel, you have to sign in and agree to pay $12.95 to use their internet for the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So is there a way to do something like that? It's free, but in order to do this, you agree to X, Y, and Z to use our wireless. Can we do something like
I
that?
can look into that.
We have
yeah,
Time
and-
Warner,
Yeah.
is Time Warner our provider?
I have no idea. Is it Time Warner or the
For the
phone-
internet,
phone-
yes.
It's
Yeah.
Time Warner. Yeah.
But it's
Yeah,
also
primarily, yeah.
Yeah.
something that routers can provide.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just wondering how, just so we can cover ourselves in case somebody does do something sneaky. It's like, well, we did have an agreement, then he violated the agreement, so we are at least protecting ourselves that way. I don't even know if it can be. I mean, if the hotel can do it, we should probably be able to do it, right? That makes sense. Okay. Now,
Says the library is not responsible for sites customers choose to visit.
right, but actively make people aware of that every time they sign on.
We do
is
that
the point.
with we have like a splash screen on the
Right.
publics.
Right.
So they have to accept this before
Right.
they can get on. But we don't, you'd have to have
Right,
something
is
similar
there,
set
is
up
there a
that-
way, because I
I don't
know
know.
if you're in a hotel room with
Mm.
your wireless with your computer, you have to plug into
Yeah.
the hotel
Mhm.
and you have to sign a waiver to get onto their internet, so there must be a way we could do it too. Alright, okay, so,
You can check with other libraries in the area, see how they're doing it.
okay,
Or
so
whether
that's a new
RCLS
one,
has
yeah.
something.
Alright, so let's. Marketing, senior center, churches, flyers, website, open house. Did I forget anything? Repairs to the building, get our tax money on the first day of our fiscal year, and explore a grant writer. Our 5-year plan is our new library, becoming a special district library, and investing in technology. At our next regular board meeting, if you can think of anything else or a way to make this sound like something coherent, so that it's not just a bullet list, so that it's intelligent, and the library plans over the next year to blah, 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 and then, you follow?
Sure. One
Okay,
page,
so-
keep it simple.
Yeah, one page, complicated is nobody reads it.
Don't have to go into the PR includes
Yeah.
newspapers, Facebook,
sorry.
Twitter, and blah, 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 blah.
Yes, Steve?
I was writing stuff while you were when
At
you
our
type
next
version
board
of this.
meeting, yeah, at our next board meeting, suggestions
Here's
for
your homework.
how to, really don't make this too complicated for
Yeah.
yourself, but just, we want this to be intelligent and put it up on the website. Over the next year, the library is going to, and, why, and make it all happy and upbeat and,
So you want
um,
something from each of us?
I don't know, I think at the next meeting, whatever you wanna add to it, at the next meeting, we'll try to put together an intelligent one-year plan based on these notes and making them intelligent sentences instead of just bullet points. Do you know what I mean? Am I making sense?
Bring it to
And
the next
then-
meeting.
Yeah, just, and that's a 5-year, what?
The next meeting is the 8th or the 1st?
That's the 8th.
8th.
And then, the 5-year plan doesn't even have to be as involved because it's, new library and then, we can discuss it for a
Due
while.
to
We
the
don't have to.
uncertainties of the coming half decade.
Yeah, right.
We're limiting
we have
our
no
5-year
idea.
goals to this.
Yeah, right. I mean, something like that, just so we have something, here's what we're doing and this is why and,
Well,
we're working for you and this is what we want to do for you and this is, you know what I mean?
Hopefully what we could do is have something in place for when we can move with it.
What do you mean?
Whether it's a plan for a new library over there,
Right.
Architectural drawings or whatever is necessary
Uh-huh.
to when when we feel it's the right time, when we can actually move forward with it, we have something to move forward with.
Well,
Something-
we kind of had that discussion, not the last meeting, the one before, when we were first brought up getting all our money from the school districts, because we owe we owe $230 on the land, and at the end of the fiscal year, we have about $250 left. If we get all of our money up front, then that's $250,000 we can pay off the loan. We're paying 4% interest on that, or 5% interest, and only earning 1%, so it just makes sense to pay off the loan.
Or, that's one option. Another option is to pay some of it and keep some
Well,
in
here's-
case of an emergency,
Yeah, well,
so that
The,
we're not
um,
strapped.
right, no, we don't wanna be completely
don't
strapped,
want-
but
yeah.
what, we already have budgeted $8,500 a month to pay the loan.
Mm-hmm.
So that $8,500 a month will now not have to pay the loan.
Mm.
So that's $8,500 a month to repair the building, to save up 2 or 3 months, hire an architect, do engineering surveys, do computer surveys, finance, grant writers, you know what I mean? It frees up. We don't have to spend $250,000 the first year, but it's $250,000 that we're not saving to operate the first 3 months of next year. That's $250,000 we can put into a building fund, we can put into a repair fund, we can put into a futures kind of fund, whatever. But,
Fiscally, it's more sound.
Yeah,
If it
but-
happens that the roof is falling off, at the moment we pay it off, certainly we would opt to repair the roof.
right, exactly, and it's, yeah, I mean, just the fact that it's actually not a good use of our money to be earning less than 1% on it while paying 4% on the same amount somewhere else. So, it's just, nothing says that once we pay off the land, we have to spend the whole thing. Do you know what I mean? So,
How
that
much
was,
is the land worth? Is that a $1 million question?
wow, it depends on who
Could be.
you ask. Because when they went and bought it, they didn't get an appraisal up front. But the bank said, oh, okay, fine, because we'll do an interest-only loan.
4%, right.
Right, and so depending on who you ask, Ray Quattrini thinks it's worth a fortune, but the county thinks it's worth $250,000 last time I looked, and that was a couple of years ago. The guy who sold it, there was no appraisal done of the land
So
before
it's
the
just paying
loans.
taxes, right? You're just paying back taxes. Was that all that land
Yeah.
was?
No, no.
600,000.
We
thereabouts.
bought it for $600 or $625 or $600,000, and we got an interest-only loan to buy it for $600,000.
Which it was touted as a great price.
Yeah, it was, because it's 5 acres in the village.
It's
How much, what is it? What exactly is it? I
Fine.
mean, is it the pond all the way?
no, but
If you go to Salesian Park,
Okay.
that driveway you will drive in,
that is ours.
the driveway is ours.
Pretty much
The
what we
land
have.
to the left of the driveway
Okay.
is ours, and the land to the right,
Up
up to
to
the
the
point where the little knobby
stack
things are
tower.
on the
Right.
fence.
That
The little
thing's-
knobby things on the fence belong to the
Stone
town, the other
tower.
portion of it belongs
Is
to
the
us.
tower ours, the stone
Yeah.
tower, and
Yes.
the
And then
foundation?
Tower's
that
ours?
foundation,
Yeah.
and there's
My understanding
there's a
is
road, and then there's another piece, and that's ours too,
It's-
correct?
it's-
So we don't
I have a
own up to
map
the
I can-
school. We
Yeah.
don't own up to
Give
the
you
school,
all.
we just own.
No, we
No.
own 5 acres, I forget what the frontage
We
is.
own the entrance.
We own the entrance. In exchange for right-of-way to drive on our driveway, they mow our lawn. That was the original,
And
that was
and
the
plow
plan.
it.
And the village
Yeah,
owns
they
the rest
plan.
of it?
The village and the
owns-
town.
The village and the town together, that's right, they own the rest
Joint
of
rec,
it.
we
Yeah.
should say.
Right, and joint rec mows our lawn for us, because we let them drive on our driveway. which I seriously think we have to shut down once a year to keep ownership of the driveway, but.
Well, our lawyers.
Seriously?
But I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah,
know.
no, there's a I told you, there's a
We'll do it when
college,
there's a storm.
there you go, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
There's a-
Smart. Perfect.
There's a college in the city, and I can't remember which one it is,
Yeah,
but they
yes.
own a land, and people drive it, it's a public street, except one day a year they shut it down,
Come
so
out.
they can retain ownership of that land.
You know,
Anyway, so,
We're
okay,
gonna
this has
close
gone
it
on too long, let's adjourn the
during
meeting.
this snowstorm.
It's, 8:39, may I have a motion to adjourn? Norma, everybody in favor? Okay, Norma and Nancy, let's do that. Everybody say yes.